right, do you know your emotional IQ? We were just chatting. The camera caught us there, didn't it? Your emotional intelligence can make a huge difference in your relationships. Keith Miller is here to explain all this. Let's just start off with this. I think a lot of guys go, emotions? Ooh, I don't want to deal with it. Define emotional intelligence.
Well, really, it's pretty simple. We all have emotional intelligence. It's really just the awareness of what's going on inside you at a given moment. I mean, the question of emotional intelligence comes up around being able to access that information when you need it.
So basically, you're telling us we need to know how to deal with this situation, or how to know if someone's shelling something else at me, how to deal with those emotions, or how that makes you feel?
Well, that's part of it, actually, and that's part of the conversation that's pretty intense about this in a lot of different fields, business fields. The field of business management, leadership development has really caught on to this because they realize, it's not just about the skills, the intelligence that you need to do your day-to-day skills or tasks. That's a rational kind of intellectual intelligence. But there's another kind of intelligence when you're talking about your emotional intelligence that's different. It's not just rational.
This is interesting because we all have friends that they're book smart. They could recite that book to you. They could be on Jeopardy. They're so great they can get it all on a test. But when it comes to, I guess you can call it street smart sort of, or just, having that emotional ability to relate to people.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Emotional intelligence, there's 5 basic elements of emotional intelligence. One is to be able to motivate yourself and persist in the face of frustration. And the second is to have impulse control and delayed gratification. The third is to have empathy, like you're mentioning. You have to be able to imagine what it's like for somebody else. And the fourth is to control your emotions so that they don't impede on your rational thoughts. They don't cloud your thinking. And the last is to be able to have some influence over other people's states of mind, so that they might react positively to you and give you what you might need.
Compare the sexes. Let's break it down.
Oh, sure.
Men, women, they do it differently.
Well,
who's better at it?
The thing is, that's the question, and that's sort of the debate, right, in every relationship. And women have a certain advantage because if you look at how women interact with each other, how they communicate, it's a lot of talking about feelings. That's how they connect. And that's how they know that there's some meaning between each other, to talk about feelings. But it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a lot of intelligence, and I'm going to get a lot of big reaction from that, right?
Sorry, we got to go, Keith.
Right. No, I mean, talking about feelings gives people advantage because there's a vocabulary about emotions. But it's really about balancing those 5 different elements that I mentioned. It's not any one of those things that makes you emotionally intelligent. Like, for example, I can be highly motivated and persist in frustration. But if I'm in a traffic jam, there's really nothing I can do about it. And that's the only part of me that's active, and I can't tone it down.
Gotcha. Well, women, you say, can use it to our advantage because we feel and we act on those emotions more. We listen to them. It's just the way we're made. That's just what it is. But it could also be a disadvantage, right? If you're at work, or if you're in some kind of situation where you shouldn't be maybe crying or, throwing some kind of emotional tantrum, right?
Sure. Well, our emotions surge and come forward for a reason. It's the way our brains are wired. This is sort of the simple model of a brain, just the fist. And this is the front part of our brain where it's the higher thinking we have that allows us to think about things in the sense of us that we have. But the base of our brain right here, the brain stem, is responsible for all of our impulses. It's where our fight or flight reflex comes from. And I like to refer to that part of our brain as the lizard, because we all have it, actually, this reptilian brain that all reptiles and birds have. So you might not know it, but you're in a relationship with somebody that's really, the behavior you're seeing that might not make sense, it's driven by the emotions, and what's driving the emotions is this survival instinct underneath it. So these emotions will surge and they'll come forward. Sometimes we can't help it.
In different situations, and you may not know, sometimes people are just so overcome. But can you control it? Do you believe that, say, if you're in an argument with your husband and your wife, whoever, boyfriend, girlfriend, and your emotions are surging up, and it's that quick thing, and can you control it? Do you think people can train themselves to sit back before they lash out? Sure.
Well, I think that's, in some ways, that's the old question that psychotherapy, the old model of psychotherapy would ask, is can you manage your emotions? The modern approaches to psychotherapy, the things that I do with people when I'm coaching people in therapy with them, is more experiential. It's not so much can you control it in the moment. Once it's out of the gate, that instinct is going to protect us because we are animals.
How about, can you train yourself, do you think, or do you think you need professional help?
Well, you can train yourself, but reading about it is one thing. You're not going to learn it just from a book. You do have to interact with the emotions with someone that's going to help you not be overwhelmed with them, or also not let you get away with not really, you're just sort of intellectualizing about them, too.
Maybe start by taking a deep breath, right?
Take a deep breath, absolutely.
Before that comes out.
It
Keith
helps.
Miller, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.